Oh, I don't know why. If I get too close, it's all washed out. But welcome, yay! Back in the kitchen. Woo! So, yes, person, it's my birthday. Uh, back in the kitchen, such as it is. Um, maybe every stream when it starts should sound like that old tape recorder. Um, so if I stand really far back, I'm not so blurry, but I don't know. The camera is not being very forgiving, but yes, Serenity, Captain Tight Pants. Um, anyway, so tonight we're going to be doing some French toast and ork bacon, not bacon made of orks, but ork bacon, bacon that orks like to eat. So give me, yeah, I've got the light really dim in here, but for some reason the overhead is just like not digging it. See, over here it's not so bad, and over here it's not so bad. But if I actually get like in a normal people distance, it's just like, look, she's really pale and ghostly. But to be fair, I'm kind of pale and ghostly. So let me get my apron on and we can get started. There's some pockets. It's okay. Yeah, engineering degree sometimes for this thing. Also, as a heads up, I don't have Twitch on this laptop. I started to set it up, and then it was like it'll break all your, you have to reset all your links and things. Like, so yeah, I don't have it on here. So if something hanky goes on, I do have it on in the other room. I just have to say something, and I'll go fix it. But let's just begin. So the bacon comes from this cookbook. Let me step back a little bit so it's not so glary. Called Hero's Feast, and a nice little bit of D&D stuff. And this recipe calls for, let's see, old people glasses, a pound of thick cut bacon. I don't have it. I got a rasher of regular UK bacon. 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, half a teaspoon of black pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 2 tablespoons of orange juice. Basically, you're making candied ham bacon sticks. Thanks everybody for the mini birthday wishes. But so we were making some ork bacon. It says it's not made from orks, but for orks. Half orks find this delectable snack quite to their taste, as do the Goliaths of Eberron and a few game hunters and halflings. It is said that a half ork named Masmoris was the first to discover this pungent recipe of cured pork strips, which you can practically taste from 20 yards away. It is sweet. I will tell you, it is very, very sweet. Orks flavor it with black pepper and garlic. A halfling might instead smooth off the edges with some maple syrup. Experienced adventuring parties and venturing into ork lands know that driving a bundle of bacon can throw pursuers off your trail, and orks have been known to barter with humans who carry it. So that is the bacon plan. Yeah, it's gonna be it's like a candied ham in stick form. That's what that is. I have made it once. I did not have the orange juice, so it came out super sweet. So I did get the orange juice this time, so it should cut some of the sweetness. And the French toast. So I like French toast. Making French toast is difficult, and it is for me. Trying to get the bread just right, so it's got the egg in it without being overly soggy, and trying to get it all done, and then getting it cooked to the right consistency, because it'll be scorched on one side and raw in the middle, and it's just I found this is a crockpot recipe. My crockpot, however, blew a fuse. So, but I did find out that you can indeed make this in the oven. It just takes less time. You just have to kind of tweak it now. Because I'm cooking 2 things at the oven at the same time, I did have to kind of tweak the recipe a little bit. It's super easy though. and makes cleanup a lot simpler. For the French toast, the recipe itself, yeah, easy to make, hard to perfect. The recipe itself calls for cooking spray, which I won't use. I'm going to use butter. Flour, 3 cups cubed French bread or challah. I'm going to actually use some brioche bread. Works really great. 2 eggs beaten, 2/3 cup whole milk, 1 tablespoon granulated sugar, 1/2 teaspoon ground cinnamon, 2 tablespoons unsalted butter melted, 3 tablespoons packed brown sugar, 1 tablespoon honey, 1/4 cup chopped pecans, which I don't have, maple syrup or sour cream, whichever you prefer on your French toast. Now, obviously, we're going to be making some changes. And so, am I going to have to go moderate? I'm afraid I'm going to have to go moderate. Give me 1 second and I will go do that. Sorry about that. I will be right back. I guess I'm going to have to set up moderation. Let's see. Hold on. Someone on YouTube is being ridiculous. So let me find where I am live on YouTube so I can fix this because somebody is being that guy. Hold on. Let's see, where is the user in timeout because they can't behave. Okay, so yes, somebody decided that that was a great time to cop some attitude on YouTube. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, they were just being kind of yeah. I forgot that this game's both. I need moderation help, but so sorry about that for the yeah. So yeah, we're gonna do all of this. This is all gonna go in the oven. As I tweak the recipes, I will clarify the differences. So I think trying to decide which one I want to start first. I'm going to set up the bacon first and get that popped in the oven because it's going to take a few more minutes. For the bacon, I like mine in the bacon in the oven because it's easier to clean up and less splatter and less, blistering pain. And so I use one of these roasting pans with the doohickey in it, and that tends to keep it from being too bad. I thought I was going crazy again. No, someone was being kind of lippity on YouTube. There was someone going on about "shut up, Meg," and I'm like, I don't even know you. So, um, people being people. Bacon. I'm gonna do the bacon first. So let's get that set up because once you get the eggs and stuff going for that, it needs to kind of move. So the first thing it says preheat the oven to 375, which is I think 190 Celsius. Right. I'm gonna start that going. Going to put the bacon in, and you're gonna put it in the pan kind of snug. Okay. People, it's been a day. It's been that kind of day, and I'm not sure why people feel so emboldened to be jerks. And let me see if I can fix this. My print on here is really, really tiny, so let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger because I'm a woman of an age on a little bitty screen. And there we go. So now I can sort of see. Hey, I can see the text. Um, I had multifocals for a while, but it didn't help because I still had to do the old person tilt thing, and when I read, I still took them off anyway. And then I developed vertigo, and I'm like, I don't need anything to mess with my vision. So, um, yeah. But now I can sort of see what's going on a little bit better. Um, and My son got the new Deltarune game, so I'm hearing him over there. So I'm excited that he really likes the franchise, and it's going to be difficult to open. I spent the last 2 days thinking, did I have everything? Was everything ready? And then I realized today, like 2 hours ago, I forgot to put the bacon out to thaw, and then there was a little bit of a panic because I'm like, bacon. So it should be thawed up. I did the cold water thing with it. But yeah, when you put the bacon in the pan, right, we're gonna put it in pretty snug because it's gonna shrink up a little bit. I miss having access to even like the deli counter at the grocery store, where you could go and get the thicker cut bacon and just get a pound of bacon wrapped in like the butcher paper, and to get the really thick stuff. I don't like my bacon really peppery, but which is the really common type that you can get there. But it, as we move to the Middle East, obviously the Muslim part of the world, they don't do bacon. But there is a grocery store chain there called Spinneys, and they had what my son at that time called the magic room. And in the back of the grocery store, in certain parts of the UAE, you could find this door that you had to push a button so you couldn't accidentally wander into the magic room. Um, and in the magic room, they had the non-halal stuff. So if you wanted Pop-Tarts or bacon or pork chops or whatever, you had to go in there, and it was like a segregated off area. But I remember being so excited to find bacon, and my kid loved Pop-Tarts at the time. There's a lot of Pop-Tarts and bacon. Sometimes the waitress, there was a waitress at the Dubai Mall. Let's say it was waitress, the fancy grocery store, um, where you could get stuff too. But that's kind of pricey. But you're at the Dubai Mall, so I guess they assumed you could afford the bacon. I know there's just something nice about fresh cut bacon, which I mean, when you think about bacon, it's not fresh, but kind of. But you know what I'm saying? There's something really nice about having fresh cuts of meat. I haven't been in a grocery store in a long time, a couple of years. So yeah, and it depends on what part of the country you're in. I remember um, in some parts of the country, you are allowed to take your roadkill home and do stuff with it, and some you're not because they don't want people like purposely running down a deer or whatever. But I remember there was some reality TV show, and someone ran over something, and they held up the animal, and they're like, I'm gonna make a belt out of that one, and the person that was not country was just mortified and saying, where do you think some of this stuff comes from? Hmm. Okay, so it says um, put in 375 Fahrenheit, 190 Celsius in a rack in the middle of the oven. It says line a large rimmed sheet with foil. I'm not going to do that. I've got a wire rack. It says use nonstick cooking spray and set it on the foil pan. Don't need to do that on this big pan. This pan is particularly good about um, being nonstick. What do you mean shameless plug? I don't know. You keep saying that. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm boggled at what you mean by shameless plug. But so we're gonna pop this in. It says range on the rack, lying them tight against each other. Roast until they're some of their fat renders and they shrink a little bit, about 12 minutes. So let's get that started, and I'm gonna get the other stuff going. It's in the oven, so no bacon tricks. Let me set my timer. I can find the buttons. Unbutton them. Okay. So to get this one ready, I use, it says to make a nonstick pan with cooking spray and stuff. I don't use cooking spray. The aerosol stuff in it makes your pans manky, so I don't like to use it. I'll use butter all the time. And it's just something, I don't know. I just prefer it. Tastes better, I guess. So I'm gonna use a little tiny sliver of butter because I just need to butter the inside of this pan because we're gonna butter and flour it. You can also, when you do this in the crock pot, it's going to be the same recipe, but the difference is you're going to butter and flour your crock pot pan, and you're going to put it in the crock pot as I'm doing the same thing in this pan for on high for 2 hours. And you want your eggs to be, I think, 75 degrees Celsius to make sure they're good on the inside. So, but yeah, it never occurred to me to butter and flour a crock pot before, but then I did it and I'm like, that was nice. It made clean up so much easier. Even on the crock pot now that they come apart and you pop them in the dishwasher, um, it just made it so much nicer. Washing hands again. It didn't occur to me to try it until the recipe actually said to do the pan, and it came out so easy, which was super nice. So, and it works well. And this is a nonstick pan. I mean, and a crock pot is also kind of nonstick. It's enamel, so you don't think anything sticking hard to it unless you like really cook it. But yeah, this made it so much easier to clean up your pan later. And it needs a little butter, a little flour. No biggie. Not even a heavy coat, just a light coat. And then remember, never save your dirty flour. It's not any good now unless you like ergot poisoning. And then I guess whatever floats your boat. I don't judge, but you start eating your neighbors, and we'll know why. Trying to burn the neighbors as a witch or whatever. Stews can, especially because they cook longer. So I don't know if that trick would work with it. But because a lot of the meat has been floured and then you brown it, so maybe couldn't hurt to try. I mean, really. Um, okay, so the pan is ready. Now we're gonna prep the bread, and because it's just me, because my son does not like French toast, I'm gonna use 2 slices of bread, right? And because it's for a cookbook for 2 people, I'll eat it all. Yes. I can't complain about the weight because I know exactly where it's coming from. See, I have to say it doesn't. When you think about French toast, it doesn't look like French toast when we're done, but it tastes amazing. Okay, this is gonna be the best French toast recipe I've ever made. So we're going to take this. We're going to cut it into cubes, right? It doesn't have to be small cubes, just kind of cubish. So I cut it like into quarters, going top to bottom, and then kind of quarter it from. You could do this with plain white bread, but it's not going to be as good. But a sweeter bread, like so 4 and then thirds. So the pieces are about pretty big, about an inch. Ooh. Um, but a sweeter bread like brioche or the challah bread. I wouldn't do it with Hawaiian bread because the texture would be weird. But this is a little sweeter and a little richer because it's got more butter and milk in it than plain white bread. So this is also probably the best thing that you can do for French toast. And we're just gonna throw it in the bottom, and you're gonna throw it in there evenly, right? My little crock pot, it kind of filled up the whole crock pot, but this is fine. It's just on the bottom, right? and that. And then in a measuring cup, because I'm super lazy, another thing, this recipe is so easy to make, so easy to do. So I need, so spray the thing with the cooking spray and dust with flour. In a small bowl, combine the eggs, milk, sugar, and cinnamon. Because I'm lazy, we're gonna put it all in here. And so eggs, milk, and sugar. So that's 2 eggs. But I know I need 2/3 cup milk. Do that one first. That is about 250 milliliters of milk for those of you buying in metric. All right. That's in the fridge. And then I'm going to put my eggs in on top because, again, I'm being super crazy lazy. I have a big measuring cup. And nope, fuck. I said no shell, and the little piece of shell fell right in. Wash my hands real quick, and then I got to fish that out. Take it for trying to be clever. Hey, when you are the cook and the bottle washer, you look for efficiency. Here's a big piece. Ha. And then 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm about to have a problem because I should have prepped the stuff for the bacon. So this might be a real stagger. It's very interesting. Tablespoon of sugar. Just had the lid. Where did I put the lid? On the stove. Offline. And a little bit of cinnamon. I don't use that much cinnamon in mine. And do remember that cinnamon is hydrophobic, so you're gonna have to kind of give it a little extra something to do. All right, I like about that much. Yeah, mistakes were made. It's been a bit since I've cooked. Keeps it exciting, right? Keeps it exciting. It's all right. It's all good. And in a moment, once I do the other thing, we're just gonna pour it on top, right? Now, what it says for this recipe, we're going to do the eggs, the milk, the sugar, and a 1/4 teaspoon of the cinnamon, so not all of the cinnamon. In another small bowl, you're going to put melted butter, brown sugar, honey, and the other cinnamon. So you're going to essentially boil that and put it all over the top. I'm lazy. I'm not going to do that. So I put all the cinnamon in here. I'm going to put this on top. I'm going to take a couple slabs of butter. I'm going to throw that on top. A little bit of honey. I'm going to throw it on top. I'm going to throw it all in the oven for, for the time. And it comes out fucking amazing. Okay. She said. Okay. Fingers crossed. I'm standing in front of this oven and it's hot. We're kind of at that weird state of the year because it's not hot outside and the humidity is down to 60%. It was like 95 when they said percent. But we've had the fans running because if you turn the fans off, suddenly it's like stifling does not begin to describe how that feels. So we're just gonna pour that on top. And you kind of poke the bread down to make sure it's all kind of coated. And a little soap in there. There's egg. right? Put there for the moment. And then I'm going to throw some butter and some honey on top, and that will be ready to go in the oven. This would be where you put the pecans on top too. I don't have any pecans. I'm not a big pecan person, but yeah. And you just throw it all in the oven. This you would throw it all in your crock pot. This recipe says on high for 2 hours. On a larger crock pot, it might be different. I think I was 90 Celsius ish. Um, One of these days, I'm gonna have to cook something that's not like super unhealthy because that's a lot of butter, sugar, and a lot of carbs. Today is not that day. Today's absolutely not that day. And then throw some honey on top. That looks good, right? And that will go into the oven for 20 minutes. Now this will come out kind of casserole-y. If you want a fluffier one, you would need to do the pan in the water thing and do it for about 50 minutes. So let me set that timer. Who needs makeup? I just melted it right off. Okay. And I'm going to pull this bacon out. Now this bacon is not done, obviously. This don't eat that. This you have trichinosis. Okay. That's a surefire way to doom. But so while that is cooking, because that's essentially done, that out of the way. Now I need to do the bit for the bacon to make it orky, right? Get that out of the way. This, as we've done that, till they shrink a little bit. Meanwhile, in a small bowl, we're going to mix together the brown sugar, the pepper, the garlic powder, and the orange juice. Excuse me. I'm going to have to do dishes. Oh no. And we're going to mix all this together. 3 tablespoons brown sugar. I was supposed to put brown sugar on my stuff. Give me 1 second. I forgot. Hot oven. Don't do this at home. Be smart and actually pay attention to your recipe. Whoop. That's not going to work. 1 second. If I ever burn the fuck out of myself, it's going to be on that bottom pan. Our sugar. We need 1, 2, 3. Now it goes in the oven. I haven't cooked in ages. It's been too hot. It's absolutely been too hot. Need the brown sugar and pepper. I would not hurt myself on purpose for your enjoyment. I promise you. I'm not going to use all the brown pepper they said. I'm not a big pepper fan. I hadn't said that before. I'm just going to use a little bit to kind of cut the sweet. No. A little bit of onion. Again, we're just trying to kind of add a little flavor to it, season to your taste. The onion, it says use a teaspoon of garlic powder. That's a lot of garlic. I'm not going to do it. That's on the top. We're going to put a 1/4 teaspoon right there. That's what you're getting from me. And then the orange juice, 2 tablespoons of orange juice. Again, if you were making a ham, if you've ever made like a holiday ham, this kind of recipe kind of sounds this recipe sounds kind of familiar. How are you today? Here there was a stream. I did not catch the dev stream. We just had someone from YouTube wooing me. For those of you sitting on Twitch going, what is she talking about? Yes. We have the content drop coming up very, very soon. Oh, thank you for the subs. Remember, I can't see Twitch or anything, so if something pinky or awesome is going on, tell me so I can say thank you, because I want to say thank you. But I did see that one of the things coming for the next content is you can pet the Kulon, because everyone wanted to pet the Kulon. We've been asking to pet the Kulon for a long time, and we can now pet the Kulon. So we're going to mix all that up, and it's just going to be a little syrupy. Doesn't look great, but we're going to coat the bacon in it. Right? Thank you. Thank you. And we're just gonna paint it on. I love I've mentioned before, my silicone brush. I love my silicone brush. And the bacon, unfortunately, did kind of layer up a little bit, but that's okay because really it asked for thicker bacon. So I'm just gonna do my best to get it all up in here. And my son's gonna kill me because he asked me to leave some aside for him, and I just realized I just painted all that. Oh shit. Bean did post a picture of him on the public test client petting the Kulon, and they're keen. So yeah, we've. So this is gonna go back in the oven for about 7 minutes. Maybe. Don't do that at home again because your landlord will not like it if you scorch your countertop. Thankfully, I did not scorch the countertop, but okay. So setting a second timer for. Where's the on-off button on this thing? It's stupidly loud. Okay. So 7 minutes. While we have a minute, because egg has got about 14 minutes and that's got about 7 minutes on it. I did want to say thank you guys, everybody, for all the birthday wishes and gifts. I got some really very generous things. I got to show you the card I got from. Let's see. It says 4 out of 5 cats don't care it's your birthday, and then we have cat with confetti coming out of his butt, and it says number 5 cares too much. Have a perfect birthday. Isn't that sweet? I love the cat. Yay! Happy birthday. That same person also sent me some nice fidget jewelry. Yeah, I do love it. Thank you, Kason, for sending those things. So I've got a nice bracelet, and this is one of those anxiety necklaces that you're supposed to blow in whenever you're having a moment to kind of calm your breath down. That was a very generous gift. I also got the Supernatural. I like it. Season 7 was a bit weird, but I like it. Thank you. And from Kiliwe and Chris, they sent me a graphic novel. So, thank you guys. And Kiliwe and Chris also sent me some chocolate that I already ate because I like chocolate. So, hey, Kink, how are you doing? So that's my birthday gifts. Yay. We got a minute. I'm going to move these so I can sit down because I've got my chair here. And let me put those away, but they're somewhat safe so they don't get lost. Yep. And then remove my orange juice. Birthday. It is my birthday. Thank you guys. It's kind of wild because I remember doing a birthday stream last year, back when the official Discord was still much smaller back then, a lot more manageable, and everybody came and I did that. It's a Conan stream, and I still have the cake and stuff up in that build where I did that, and everybody came, and it was very nice just to kind of hang out for a little bit. I'm not wearing a princess crown. Okay. See if I can get up in this chair without hurting myself. I only got 4 minutes. Eh, there we go. Okay. Hobbit food. You see, I picked Hobbit theme because, well, between the Ork bacon and French toast is a comfort food. I mean, and this is an easy recipe that is easy to make. It's easy to clean up, and I mean, Hobbits are about comfort food, right? I do have ideas for future stuff. In my Discord, there's now a spot under the cooking tab for suggestions, things that people want to see. I'm sorry, it was not easy to find. I forget that people sometimes use YouTube. I do apologize for that. It's a hazard of being small, I think. And okay, and to be fair, I have been questioning the algorithm for a while. It's like it was doing okay, and then suddenly I'm there's 12 hours with no views, and I'm like, what did I do? And for cooking streams, especially, YouTube just does not like it when I cook. Um, I do better on Twitch with cooking, but yeah, for some reason, YouTube just doesn't like live streams. I think it really struggles with the idea of it, and I don't know why. Because I mean, like people are like, why don't you game on YouTube? I'm like, if you look at any of the games that I play, you won't see anybody really doing a whole lot uh, of streams, and the ones that do aren't getting a lot of views. People are all on Twitch. Although a lot of people have started moving to Kick, and that kind of has its own thing, but um, and Kick isn't doing any of the games that I do either. But I know Kick has got its own kind of political thing going on. So I'm like, as much as I don't like um, what I have, there's not really any better options. And um, it is what it is. It is what it is. Can't I'm here to someone today was talking about people getting banned for language on Twitch. I'm like, I swear. I mean, I don't swear a lot. I mean, there's places in there where you can mark what you do. If you're just try a bikini on, no one wants to see that. No one wants to see that. Um, and I don't have any purple lights or a swimming pool in my little kiddie pool in my house. This is as undressed really as I get. You get to see my bare arms. I did live in the Middle East for 3 years. When we left, I remember it was every time we would travel somewhere, it was always a little weird because these slaves would be pushing it. Where we lived in Ras Al Khaimah, these slaves would be pushing it, and they did escort people out for coming in dressed inappropriately. We'd also get tourists. So I could wear these sleeves with long pants or anything to the knee, but you couldn't do exposed arms and exposed legs. So you could do mid-thigh shorts and a longer sleeve, but you couldn't do both. And they absolutely would escort you out the door. Um, um, hey, if people want to do those things, power to them. Power to them. Um, I don't have the confidence to do those kinds of things, and it is really hot right there. So we're gonna pull this out. We're gonna flip the bacon over, and then we will saturate again. Right? And Twitch, all of these streaming things are really weird, and I know the pandemic kind of created some now some extra interesting spaces when people were trying to get their at-home hustle on, and I can't blame anybody for that. It's hot. And we're just gonna flip all that over. And like I said, all the grease ends up in the pan instead of all over my kitchen and my face and all over my arms. I don't know, why do we have to do the tongs? It's I think for me, maybe it's just, do I have a good grip on it? I'm just going to coat the rest of this. I tried this the other day and I didn't have any orange juice. It was just the brown sugar, and it came out like it was like covered in like candy because it was when if you coat bacon in brown sugar and salt, it was like candied bacon. So maybe this will be a little bit. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I don't know if I could eat a whole bunch of it. Oh, for it, right? And I'm going to pop that back in for another 5 to 7 minutes, and guess about how long the other timer has got. It's got about 5 minutes on it, so we can check those both at that time. I've never tried a Reddit live stream. Reddit has a crowd that I don't know if I have the emotional stamina to do. I mean, it was kind of weird because I used to be a lot more active in the Conan subreddit, and they were a little yeah at first, and then they kind of grow on you. The Dune subreddit has got a lot of pissy people in it, and I mean, I get some complaints, absolutely. Got some room to grow. There's things that Dune needs to do, but there's some pissy people. So, you know, it's like, and there's a time and place for it. But man, after a bit, I'm just like, can we not? Do we have to do that here all the time? Because it's exhausting. So I think that's one of the things we've tried very, very hard to do in our community that we have going on Discord is, we're kind of laid back. We like what we like, and that's okay. And if what we're liking isn't working, well, we can talk about it, or we can play something else or do something else for a while, and it not be so catastrophic. I guess it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Dune, but like when Conan broke, in the last year they did an update when they did the Living Settlements update, and my game. For some of you were watching that stream, after an hour of watching a loading screen, it wouldn't load, and it was like 2.5 months before the game would load. It was unplayable by definition. The game would not load. It would not get past the loading screen. Not happy about it, but they were working on it. What else can I do? I remember that stream because my kid brought it up today because I was worried about this one. It has been a bit since we've done this, and I was kind of stressing about I'm getting everything ready, and getting the lighting and all that stuff. I made sure I had the mic charged and the laptop charged and all that stuff. It's just always something to forget, like pull the bacon out. And he was like, people sat and watched you for an hour on a loading screen. And I'm like, yeah, what weirdos. What a bunch of weirdos. I do go in to the Dune subreddit mostly to grab pictures of people's builds or fun memes. Every now and then I make the mistake of trying to engage, and hey Mila, I make that terrible mistake of trying to just to explain something, and I've shared some of this in my Discord. There was some people who were insisting that I was just making stuff up when I was like, we can't just wave a hand and make stuff happen. It's like, it doesn't work that way. But love and the positive attitude. It would be great if bacon in the oven, and the French toast is in the oven. Yeah. Well, and we even said, I remember on launch day for Dune, we were like, don't have that. But here's the thing: there's that trope, don't play on launch day. But we were able to play on launch day. We've been able to. Most people can play most of the time it's playable for most people. Are there issues? Yes, I was streaming it the other day and hit the quicksand bug. Really annoying. Could have been catastrophic. I'd have been pissed. But most of the time, it's fine. Most of the time, it can do most things, and um, most people can do it. There's a few unlucky people that seem to get hit with you know every bug in the book, but most people can play fine. It's not the end of the world, and as long as people are having fun, um, I think they're going to like it. And I've been playing on the public test client. I think people are really going to like the next chapter. Just saying. And if you got the DLCs, I'm super excited because that bike looks awesome. Excuse me. It's gonna be good. But yeah, the public test client we've been playing to move through the next bits of the story, and it just looks really good. So okay, we're going to check the French toast, and we're going to check the bacon. I'm going to check the French toast first. Smells like French toast and bacon. I don't think my French toast is quite done yet. Now it has puffed up quite a bit. If you can see that, it has puffed up quite a bit. It will deflate here in a moment. There it goes. I popped it, and now it's going down. I have it in Fahrenheit. I need that in Celsius. Yeah, this 95 degrees Celsius. The egg is done. Now we look at the bacon. Let's see, is it how we want it? It is floppy as fuck. Let's not. That needs a few more minutes. No floppy bacon. No floppy. So that's going to kind of sink a little bit, and we're going to give that a moment. I'm going to show you what that looks like in the pan. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily look like what we think of French toast, but it's going to be amazing. Yep, no floppy meat. Floppy meat's not allowed. Um, I make Bernie. I hate you. I hate you. It's been a long time since I've had smoked anything, barbecue anything. I'm going to set the timer for another 4 minutes on that bacon because that was looking a little flaccid. I don't want to hear about floppy things at an age. And for those of you who asked, I am 53 today, and yeah. It happens to the best of us. But yeah, I'm 53. Someone asked me what the thing is. I'm like, I don't go outside. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't have a life. So I will die looking really good. I'm just, yeah. But thank you. I did my first programming in high school on the 5 1/4 inch floppies, one that you had to do the label, write on label before you put it on there because you couldn't actually write on the label once it was on the floppy. I mean, you had to boot from a floppy to get DOS. I forget which version of DOS it was. This was in the 80s, and to Basica. And I had this teacher. So the year before, I'd had this teacher for geometry, and she didn't like teaching, I think, and she had a lot of mouthwash in her drawer. And yeah, with floppies, did you know they're so fragile? Even the hard cased ones, if you knock them up against something, you can knock the electrons loose and corrupt your data. Oh, thank you. Um, but I had this teacher for geometry, and it didn't matter what I did. for the entire previous year. Everything I did, she wrote just 88 on it. It didn't matter how what I actually turned in. Everything was an 88. So the next year, I was going to take computer science or computer math, and I had her as my math, as the computer math teacher, and I had a friend of mine from another class in there. And I was like, "Watch this," and because we didn't have enough computers, we teamed up together. Sometimes we had to share computers, and we would do essentially almost identical work because we were sharing a computer, right? And he would turn in something, he'd get a 92, and mine would get an 88. It's like she just saw my name and wrote 88 on it. She also, most teachers did not like the ROTC kids, and um, we were struggling at one. I can't remember what the program was we were trying to do, and he and I were struggling with it. And she stood in the classroom and she's like, "Okay, here, go start the thing. If you have any questions, holler." So he puts up both hands and was like, "Ah," and she looked at him and turned and walked away. And it's just like they had it with us and our shenanigans. Um, my my French toast. Oh no no no! Did deflate. Hold on. Come back. Come back. Gonna be one of those days. There we go. Okay, I bumped a cable, but um, oh, that's not the right camera. God damn it! Give me 1 second. Aha! Buttons. It's absolutely buttons. I don't want the Acer one. I want this HD one. She says, there's a face right in it. Give me the HD camera. It's thinking about it. All right, give me 1 sec. I need to pull this bacon out and then I will fix the camera. Ah! You're just missing me getting steamed in the face. Okay, let me see if I can fix this. Well, we're back. Yeah. Anyway, um, so my bacon is still, it's a little more done, but it's still kind of floppy. So I'm going to put it back in um, because, again, I don't like trichinosis. I don't like trichinosis. It's getting there, though. It's getting there. Another 4 minutes. It will, but it's still really floppy. There's a point where it's too floppy to when it to cool. It's not there yet. Um, you want to hear a kind of gross science thing about pigs, or is that something? Because I mentioned trichinosis, so now I feel this urge to talk about pigs. So trichinosis, pig parasite, right? Very bad for people. Our biologies are close enough in that sense that it'll make us sick, right? No, no eating people. Um, where is my spoon that I want? Not there. Anyway, I guess I'm just supposed to. For people with IBS that doesn't respond to medications, some people respond well to a type of porcine parasite. They don't know why, but something in the enzymes that the interaction does um, causes relief for symptoms. And I'm like, there's that part of me going, okay, how bad are your symptoms for how long that you are desperate enough to say, yes, give me a parasite, I will do it. And then I thought about, okay, I'm waiting for Botox for my migraines. Like, yeah, inject me with some neurotoxin. I'm there. I'm absolutely there. So, but yes, and the thing about, because it's this particular parasite does not like people, it will not last long in people food tubes, and only like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, and then it passes. And you could have people get up to 3 or 4 months of relief before they have to go back and do something again. So it's something. It's something. So see if I can show you this. It, like I said, doesn't look like French toast. It looks like a big white blur because this camera is not very. But it's got butter on top. It's got the sugar on top, and that's the same thing. There's something about because something is wrong in the gut biome, and again, you're finding people who other stuff doesn't work. They're like, yes, do a transplant, you know, and this is amazing. Mm, hot though. It might be hot down. Um, Before I forget, so yes, exclamation point merch. If you are on Twitch, you can see my Twitch store. And before I forget, some self promotion stuff. There will be podcast on Saturday, and on that podcast, I have 5 keys for the mural to give away. So those will be available. You do not have to sub. You don't have to follow or anything like that. Just show up. Got to be there to win. That is the only thing. See, there's still a little. It's no, it's okay. I'm looking at that going. It's just not. I've got the bacon that doesn't want to get crisp here because I'm looking at this bottom one that's still very flaccid. We don't want flaccid. So I'm gonna pop it back in. I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit and see if that helps. She says it's melting in here. Hey, Naked Gun looks fun. Naked Gun looks really fun. I remember the original movies. The what was the There was a TV show that had the same kind of humor. They were cops. I can't remember the name of it, and it was hilarious. It needs a hand to get crispy. The Bookend's on its own. Police Squad was so much fun. But I was thinking about Airplane and yesterday, as a matter of fact, and Naked Gun and those types of genres. And the reason we got Airplane to begin with was we had just come out of an era of all of the disaster movies with um, towering inferno and volcanoes and earthquakes and all of this stuff with Dirty Harry and all of the Charles Bronson movies, and everything was brown and gritty and hard and yeah. And Airplane kind of put a stop to that. Airplane, the movie, really put a stop to that. It really took the wind out of the sails of those things, and we'd had yeah, and the gritty movie era, we needed that over with. And so shows like Police Squad and movies like Airplane that really just kind of, yeah, Police Squad off the rails. But that's such an American thing, though. The vigilante justice thing. I mean, Batman and who was the guy in Rorschach, that guy. You know, people like nutty people going off the rails and doing things that they shouldn't do, and then they wonder why the world's on fire. Just saying. It's just hot, but it is so good. It tastes just like French toast. It's French toast, you know. And the bacon needs to hurry up and cook because I'm sitting in front of this hot oven and I'm melting. I got a fan on one side, but this other side is like sweating. Good thing we don't have smell-o-vision, right? Well, then you could smell the cinnamon, just a hint of cinnamon. Yeah, we can see the Watchmen and the Boys. The satire there, when you have people who are held up as heroes who really aren't good people at all. I think the Watchmen movie missed the mark by so many things, and it was the problem with Watchmen is it was very dated and it was very time locked into when the 80s and you're still coming out of the Vietnam War, uh, and people being traumatized by that, and the political system and the mess that was with Nixon and Reagan and all that stuff. And so, a modern audience without that context really missed it. And I think that's where the boys have picked up on that, and they as a more modern spin on it that is more timely. And you're looking at it going, yeah. I have not seen the Umbrella Academy. I don't have any subscriptions or anything like that, but I've heard it's really good though. And popular. You don't like cooking streams. You saying you don't like French toast? Um, my son has picked out um, soon. I need to get a double boiler. Um, so I'm making homemade brownies. I know lots of people don't have subscriptions, and I I keep people keep reminding me that they don't have those, and then I forget because I'm old, and us old people forget stuff. Okay, that's a little bit better. It's a little singed on one side, but it's a big pile, so the bottom of it should be fine. How come it's singed and still floppy? This will tighten up in a minute, I think. But yeah, so like one off to the side, that's a lot better. That's not flop flop. That's still, and we're gonna let that cool for a moment because too hot of meat. Bacon is cooked. Police Academy, early Police Academy was funny. After like the fourth or fifth one, it kind of lost its stuff. But Bobcat Goldthwait was hilarious then, and the Bull Oyster, and yeah, every time they would try to raid the Bull Oyster. But to be fair, I mean a lot of that stuff as is very dated and probably um, some of it hasn't aged well. Put it that way. Some of it has not aged well. Excuse me. I remember watching one and two back on HBO. I mean, it was like Police Academy and Porky's all the time. I prefer my bacon a little less crunch. I mean, I don't mind like the fat being a little crispy, but trying to get it done was the concern. Look, I didn't clip them twice. See, that's still a little pale on that side. So I'm going to give it a moment to see what it does, and I may pull out the bits that are done and then pop it back in because I don't want to overcook. Give it a minute to see what. It's feel like, hold on, and because it's got a sugar coating on it too, it's gonna also change how it colors. So don't know how well you can see that because of the lighting, but that piece right there is perfect, right? Um, but I want to make sure the rest of these are done. This one's a little more done, but again, we covered it in sugar. So, oh, excuse me, why am I turn towards the mic? I'm turning away from everybody I'm talking to, but into the mic. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to cough in your ear. Yeah, that was someone I just showed you has stiffened up quite nicely. So this little bit here, and it's like this one. I think it was someone said it's not stiff, but it's not floppy. So I think it's of the right temperature. Because that's the thing, we just don't want to get sick. Yeah, I think I may pop that one back in for just a moment. I'm a little nervous about it being so pale on that side, but I'm not going to turn the heat on. I'm just going to leave it sitting there for a moment just to make sure. I grew up in the era of, if pork ain't burned, I know we don't have to be quite so with pork now. um, I used to be an English teacher, and so yes, I have a vocabulary. And here in a minute, we're going to have not just deflated but defiled bacon. I have thought about an air fryer, but I don't really have room for one because this is it. And yeah, I don't really have room to put one away. But the French toast, I wish the camera was better. Why is it doing me this way? Turned out really, really good. Mm. Okay. Mm, that is good. Okay. See what you think. It might be a little crispy. I'm sorry. But I keep thinking about an air fryer because things like being able to pop in chicken. But you said they're expensive and where to store it because they're the size of a bread machine, which I have one, so I don't have room for anything else that size. I feel a lot about hot pots, and I'm like, I grew up in the era of pressure cookers, and I am terrified of a pressure cooker. You didn't inherit bingo, kink. You didn't inherit, but I mean, this is it because I've got right there is my fridge and freezer, and this massive cupboard. I don't know why it's this deep. I don't know why because it's not like the vent actually goes anywhere. I live in a flat. Where does it vent to? The hallway because anytime someone cooks, um, the whole hallway smells like fish or onion or whatever it is people are cooking. I remember last year for Gamescom, I made a Gamescom bingo card that we didn't get to use for that podcast that we had at the time with Andre and Mojo. We didn't get to use it, but I had a Gamescom bingo card. I wish I'd thought about it this year. I think that GameCons this year kind of ran up on us. They didn't really hype it until like the last minute, and then I mean, it's just like I don't even know what I don't know what today is, much less when GameCon was. It just kind of went whoosh right past me this year. Hmm. So, oh, can you see? It's that is Ork Bacon, and it's reminiscent of, like I said, if you do like a holiday ham with the orange juice and the honey on top, it tastes like that, except no clove because clove is disgusting. Yep, it's a thin slice. Oh yeah, that's quite nice. The orange juice did help cut the sweet, definitely. Like I need to eat a whole bunch of bacon. Mhm, 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 mhm. Be great. For the bacon, I can do that. I'll type it up and put it up in the Discord because it's super easy. And I can do the one for the French toast as well. Except it's meant for a crock pot, so you could throw stuff in and have brunch or whatever. Um, but I'll eat breakfast any time of the day. I think even when we were in the Middle East, you could get beef bacon, which it didn't taste quite the same because it doesn't. I mean, it's a different red meat, but all the hotels that they made it, they drug us all over the place. Uh, all had beef bacon in the mornings. But this is sweet enough and not dry. I mean, you could put powdered sugar and syrup on it if you want, or you could skip. You could skip the that part. But yeah, this came out. It was not nice. It was not nice bacon, and it was when you go to a hotel and get bacon, it's always flaccid. It was never cooked, and so yeah. But let me show you. So this was a little more done because I got a little more of the stuff on it, but it's still yeah, turkey bacon. Or that was it sizzling, which that would explain why it's nasty. But yeah, that's this is quite nice. And um, the pan, you try that last bit, is super easy to clean. There we go. That's done. All the grease is in the bottom. When it cools, it scrapes right out. And I think by not putting the spray stuff in there, it actually is easier to clean. Hello. It is easier to clean than without. So bacon that works like. I gotta say, it turned out really nice. So coming forward, I'm looking at doing cooking fortnightly, right, every other week, because setting those up and the expense. Um, what I have planned, doing cookies still. I'm still looking for a good recipe to roll them out. Um, I'm looking for there's a in the Dune cookbook that I have. There's a recipe for some bread and some yogurt and egg stuff. There's my son wants brownies. Uh, but I need a double boiler for that because it's like making brownies. This kind of fudgy brownies. One of the recipes reminded me much of the divinity fudge we used to have. His bacon is fucking awesome. It looks a little done, but I think that's just the um stuff I put on it. It's not burnt. Yes, I'm brave enough to try again. So I'm looking for a right recipe that rolls out better. Yeah, it's caramelized sugar. It's the orange juice and the brown sugar. I think Bean meant it when he said he was going to stay with the Coulon forever and always. Yep. So we've got Dune cookies, Dune food, brownies. There's a chicken recipe my son wants me to do. Um, we can soon pet the Coulon. The Coulon will be available for petting September 9th when the game update comes. And it will be, I think there's gonna be that will be the reason. People keep saying, why should I go to the hubs? That's why you should go to the hubs because there's a Coulon standing right there to pet. Or you could knock what's his face out of the way at Anvil Station, this pet his Coulon. And I guess because he's so friendly. No coolers for sale yet. Yet. Because everyone wants a Kulon with a still suit Kulon. Just put him in the corner, have him guard your turret. Because everyone's got a turret in their base now, right? I have not gotten a turret yet. I probably have the things to do it, but the booming noise sets up my tinnitus too bad. I will probably just get the dishwasher. I'll probably just get the turret and not get the skins this time. I just can't. But yeah, the next update is coming soon. If you have the DLC, that's also coming. You get the treadmill thing that does go forwards and backwards. It looks pretty awesome. I don't mind the tabletop cannon. I don't mind the tabletop cannon. Someone pointed out it was really funny. I read it. So it had a hidden picture of the turret, and it says old desktop mics, the old Windows mic that just had the little stand and the little mic on the stick. It looked just like it. That date's coming on September 9th. For some reason, I was thinking it was the 11th, but hey, I'll take it on the 9th. I will take it on the 9th. Hmm. It's I'm excited about this update. The story is going to be good, and this is where I asked in the channel. I'm going to ask here, so people want to come to my Discord. It's exclamation point Discord. Um, to um, we're about to finish Act One, so I'm going to be doing the last of the trials and then wrapping up Act One, and then what should we do next? Should we look at some character profiles? Should we continue on with the story? The problem is the trials are pretty short, contained videos. I mean, 6-7 minutes max, right? The story stuff starts getting longer, and book one, chapter one. I know it's. I'm old. I forget things. I mean, I forget things. Um, it's there's more stuff to talk about, but I don't want to spoil things. But at the same time, I want to talk about things because there's exciting things. And yeah, they call them books now. Book one, chapter one. I know they mentioned books in the AMA, so I'm guessing that's something they've been calling it on the back end for a while. But which makes sense. The game. So the game starts where the book one would start, right? But remember, everything leading up to it are the Brian books, and those people and things, those still exist. The time shift doesn't happen until Jessica chooses differently, and um, so all of the people and events that lead up to Jessica making that choice, all of those still happen, and I know that the devs read those books. I know devs read those books, and the people there and all of the things that inputted into, because Legendary owns all that stuff, so all of those things led into what we're going to see coming forward, all of the history. The game opens up with things telling you things, and so those things are all still in play, just with Aristay instead of Paul, and instead of the Jessica's defiance by delaying the. I find it interesting, the idea that she was going to have this daughter, and it was finally going to end the Harkonnen Atreides war. It's like, but they've been at it for 10,000 years. It's They have been in one wedding is not going to stop all of that. It is absolutely not going to stop all of that. Yeah, no. Mm. In uh, Lab 10, testing station 10, 10,000 years since the Butlerian Jihad and the supposedly betrayal, there was something had happened, and the Atreides came out on top. The Harkonnens looked disgraced, and they've been at each other's throat for 10,000 years. Jesus, plug. Uh, but we know from the in testing station 10 when Ina Heller is telling the recruiters, we can't just have Harkonnen. We need to take whoever we can find. And the the war that's been ongoing for all these years is doing more to unite the people than the houses ever did. I was running around with someone the other day. We were in one of the not slaver camps, one of the um, we were in one of the labs, and you find there was a thopter under um, a tarp, and it was an Atreides thopter. And you're like, well, that's interesting. There's some of the Atreides. There's going to deserter base, and under the poncho, you could see the green. You could see the green underneath it versus the red. It's like they're taking both sides. The a long-standing war has done more to unite the individuals than the houses ever did. So things to talk about. Yes, something happened. Something happened. They talked about it in the Bene Gesserit show, but more from the Harkonnen side, where she's just really pissed off. Like she's mad, and it's just more of blood for blood for blood. Ina Heller wanted it out. She ended up deeper in shenanigans and crossed the wrong people. Hmm. I need to write. Um. So, my God, there's there there's always a bigger fish. There's always a bigger fish, and there's always going to be someone who will take advantage of and move in to do it. I mean, money is the obvious motive, but there's always going to be somebody who will go in and take take control and money and power where they can. And I was noticing a thing the other day, and I need someone to remind me, ping me to um, write down uh, to check the lab. Stop and there's a lab shoot. Money, power, spice, influence, water. Water is more important on Arrakis than spices. The locals could give two shakes less about spice, but water's more important. So, but food. Um, there is a thread open on my Discord now for any suggestions to do with food. I would like to do cooking more regularly again. That's cooled off a little bit. There is a for this stream specifically, for the cooking stream specifically, there is a wish list on Amazon. It's exclamation point wish list. It will take you to that if you want to help me make this stuff happen, because cookbooks and materials and things are a little pricey, and as you can see, we kind of running on a budget. I'm gonna have one more piece of bacon, and yeah, turned out really good. Turned out really good. It's a little sweet though, but many thanks again. um, for everybody for showing up, for all the well wishes. Birthdays are really hard for me, not just because I'm old; they've always been hard. Um, but I do appreciate everybody showing up and hanging out and being patient while I cook. Um, yeah, I think it's 21 again. Where was I when I was 21? I was I was already married. 21. That's the best idea. I don't know. I was already married. I've been married for almost 2 years at that point. No, I just turned 20. Not the best idea. But yeah, it was a good day. It's a very good day. One of the best birthdays I've had, and it's been really really nice that everybody's been able to show up. And hopefully y'all can't hear the dishwasher. Yeah, I remember saying about this time last year in the one mistake. I've been divorced twice. Um, I remember saying in the official Discord it's about this time last year that thank goodness divorce happened. Divorce is allowed, and someone was like, "Well, I don't think divorce is good." And I'm like, "Well, then that's great that you've never been in a position where you've had to make some hard choices." And you know, sometimes things happen, and then there you are, and that's okay. That's absolutely okay. It's okay to say, this isn't working, or for whatever reason. I don't say do it lightly, but good. Fingers are all sticky now. People do grow and change, and especially when you're 20. You're not even finished puberty yet. That's not the great time to get married. Um, just saying. Bacon's good. It's very sticky though. Um, yeah, and I got very very lucky because they had just made no fault divorce legal here, like just a few months before I filed, which is really it's. There was a couple that had been separated, literally separated, living separate lives, separate everything for like 20 years, but the court wouldn't let them get divorced because what about the children? And it's like in 20 years, the children have grown up and moved on, and people would like to move on with their lives legally and be able to, take everybody off the mortgage and just be able to move on with your life, and it's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Don't get too crazy because you know, but um, when I applied, I was able to get divorced very easily. And we all know his character is pasty, pasty, pasty. He makes me look bronzed. It's a euphemism for something. Petting the coulon. And when we did the Christmas event, and Eric came, um, Bean showed up naked, as the game would allow, showed up naked, and then we all did the scoot race on the floor, where we all sat on the floor and tried to scoot around the floor and chase Moadib with the lasers. The dimes. Okay, I'm just about to finish this bowl. Yum yum yum. Mm, those 9,000 calories. I will put these recipes up because these are super easy. Um, on that note, it is time to wrap it up. The lightsaber chat. We always have a good time, though. We do. We always have a really good time. Here, you're not on them. But yes, thank you everybody for showing up. Thank you for chatting me while I make my breakfast and dinner. I did. I didn't bake a cake this time. I did grab one from the store in Black Forest. I love Black Forest. There's something about the cherry bread. It's just um and black cherries, chocolate. Mm. Okay, kirsch, absolutely, and the cherry brandy, the kirschwasser. Shots for the kirschtorte, absolutely, love this stuff. The only reason I didn't wasn't the size of a house in Germany is because I was, we had to walk everywhere because I didn't have a car. I will hopefully catch everybody on the podcast on this lighting Saturday. I do have the 5 mural keys to give away, and we got lots to talk about with the public test client and coming content that they've talked about today, and then of course some lore goodies. So all the things, it's all there. I will catch everybody in my Discord. I'm the easiest way to find me, and I will catch everybody next time. So bye bye.